same problems that the young people I saw in the States were suffering from. So I think the thing that was most inspirational to me about working with Clive and this was almost before Reprieve, was the idea that it's quite easy to be a lawyer, but it's very difficult to be a compassionate lawyer. And what we can do at Just for Kids Law is we may not be able to change the outcome, but we can certainly change the experience of the people who have to go through some of the most troubling times of their lives. And today I was just actually at the Old Bailey having one of those troubling times when I stepped outside and went over the road and looked up at the Old Bailey, and I'd never seen before, but it said, "Defend the children of the poor against the wrongdoers." And I'd never noticed that, and I've been in the Old Bailey now for years. And I thought, in this situation, who are the wrongdoers? And to be honest, I think it's the state. We are letting our children down, and they are the wrongdoers. So what we do at Just for Kids Law is we try to enable all the children and young people that we work with to reach their potential, irrelevant of whatever's happened in their life or whatever wrong that they've done. And so we want to prevent the reverse of a descent into a life of crime and addiction, homelessness and despair, and we provide personal support and advocacy in addition to very good quality, I hope, good quality legal representation. So we have a number of programs. We provide specialist legal representation to children who are accused of crimes. We make sure that they have someone with them at all times who's there holding their hands, holding their parents' hands, making sure the experience itself is the best it possibly can be. We provide representation and advocacy in education and community care matters, and later you can hear from Balkiza, who was represented pro bono by one of our staff through a process where she was excluded from school last October, and we've now just got her into the Academy of Excellence. Is that the London Academy of Excellence, which is a new academy setting up in September for children who they hope to get into Oxbridge. It's an academy to get in, but Balkiza has been out of school since October and had no chance of getting back into school if we hadn't intervened. We've now got her a learning mentor, and we're trying to help in any way we can. She doesn't need our help, but we have been able to. We have a youth advocacy program that works with the children in crisis to try and stabilise their lives, and once we've managed to stabilise them with housing or education or immigration assistance, then we move them into positive activities. We run a mentoring program which Balkiza hopefully will benefit from. But what we also do is we train lawyers in best practice. We think that the law is letting down our children, and so we go out and train them in how they should be representing children and young people. We lobby through policy systems. We take strategic litigation cases like BID was mentioning to change the whole youth justice system. And we also have a hardship fund, a small fund to provide for the young people to help them get into work or training, maybe driving license, driving tests, things of that nature. So what we've come to ask today is our West London office has been up and running now since 2007, so 5 years. And in March this year, we just launched a North London office. But we only had funding to set up the youth advocacy program. We have no funding to run the education and community care side of our work in North London. And what we're asking for today is help in providing that legal representation or advocacy. We're hoping to do that in partnership with UCL, who will provide us with law students to take on some of the cases. But really, we do need your help in providing for that position. So I'm just going to quickly go through what the statistics show, and they really are staggering. There's been a 795% increase in the incarceration of children in the UK in the last 25 years. Not because our children are 795% more dangerous, but because we see locking them up as a solution. However, the youth custodial estate has a 70% reoffending rate. Gosh, I'm taking up your time. School exclusion is said to cost, over the course of a lifetime, £464,000. Our cost of our education and community care intervention is £1,000 per person. In March this year, we turned away 28 education clients because we couldn't take them on because of capacity. And I'm going to let Balkiza answer questions that you have, but I just want to highlight this story quickly in the last minute. of a 16-year-old girl who'd been on the child protection register when she was thrown out of her home because she'd been physically abused by her stepfather. She was sleeping rough at friends' houses and sometimes with men for sex. She presented at her local authority with malnutrition and hypothermia, and they refused to house her. She then called up Just for Kids, and within 2 days, after writing and issuing legal proceedings, she had supported accommodation and was back in college. Without our assistance, there is no legal aid for this work, and without that assistance, she would still be out on the streets.